All right, well, welcome back for part 2. And now joined with me is Dr. Ali Husain, who's one of our principal investigators at our rheumatology site. So welcome today.
Hi, hello.
And if you don't mind just giving us a little bit of background about, how long you've been practicing or how you got into clinical research.
So good afternoon all. 2010 to 2013, I did my residency, but I always wanted to do rheumatology because of the diseases can present so differently. Each disease can have different kind of symptoms, from basic, simple lab changes to like life-threatening signs and symptoms. So between 2016 and 2018, I did my fellowship in University of Oklahoma, which was clinical and research heavy too. There they have Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation, which is they have done many research on lupus specifically. So there my interest in research started. Then I came back to Michigan where I did my residency. I started my rheumatology practice in 2018, where I had interaction with a team of Revive. I met with the Revive team, and with their approach and what they have to offer, I decided that this would be the time to get into rheumatology research.
Okay, so as a PI and a clinician, what does a typical day look like for you?
So typical day, it's pretty busy, right? I start my day early around 8 a.m. I have my first patient at 8:30. Then in between seeing my patients, I have my research patients too. And the patients that I am seeing who are not controlled with the current approved medication, I need to think about them. Oh, would they be a good candidate for this study? So that's, my brain is always going that, oh, we need to consider this patient into the study. And in the same time, I have patients which are already approved and enrolled in the study. I have to evaluate them too. So overall, it's a pretty busy day, and I have to interact with my research coordinator. With rheumatology, we are doing tons of labs, so I have to review the labs, talk to my patients, and all of my patients they're chronic with multiple comorbidities. They're seeing me more than their primary care physician, so they're family to me. So I sit down, talk to them regarding what I'm managing and what's going in their life. So it's a very busy day, but I love doing it.
So with your busy day, with the accountability and responsibility, what does your team look like, and how do you function on a day-to-day?
So between seeing my patients clinically and then taking care of the research patients, which needs a lot of time, I have multiple coordinators. I have been working with them for a long time, but still we spend at least 2 to 3 hours of our day discussing our studies, our protocols, and our patients.
And do you ever feel that the expectations of a PI are unrealistic, given how a study is run?
Yes, I think so. Sometimes it can be very challenging in between seeing your patients, doing research work, yes.
And how is it when you're in rheumatology managing long-term chronic patients with their diseases?
That's the best part of rheumatology that I love. Chronic patients, you know your patient well, you know your disease well, and you know the manifestation of those diseases that your patients are coming and seeing you. So the chronic part of the rheumatology, that's what I love the most, because I build a rapport with my patient, and that's what I use in my clinical research too, because your patient trusts you, so they're able to. Your patient trusts you, so if I ask them, oh, this is a new study, let's see if you are eligible for this. They have just a couple of questions, and they're usually agreeable.
Okay.
Because it's the trust.
Yes, that was going to be my next question is, how do you build that trust with a patient, or what kind of concerns do patients sometimes have? Are there any concerns they have about joining a trial? Is it that you need to educate them a little bit more?
So the concerns that the patient has, it's always the side effects, right? Then I need to discuss with them in detail. If the disease is not treated, not controlled, we're dealing with the side effects of the disease. So we have to weigh risk versus benefits.
And as far as your patients in research, do they understand fully what they're signing up for?
So that is the most time we spend discussing the informed consent with them and spend the most time we can so they fully understand what they're signing for. Yeah. So that's very important for us and for our patients.
And what they expect throughout the course of the trial to not only recruit them into the study, but to retain them on the study.
Yes.
And do you feel like you have to do a lot of education on clinical trials or their disease in order for them to participate?
So education is ongoing. When I'm seeing them regularly as a clinician, I'm educating them. And yes, when we are enrolling them in a clinical trial, I'm educating them even in more detail and more depth.
So what makes a sponsor or CRO good to work with?
So as a rheumatologist, there is a lot of research going on so many new drugs, right? So I meet MSL of different companies all the time. So they know my demographics, the demographics that I treat, and which is vast, which is Caucasians, African American, and Hispanics, and they know what disease I'm specialized in. So the trials that I get through these sponsors, then they know that I'll be of huge importance and I can play a huge role in those new upcoming molecules because I have the data and I have the patients who need those new medications.
Yeah. And how do you keep them engaged or stay in touch with them? Is that somebody who routinely comes to your office?
So they routinely comes to my office, and then we brainstorm and discuss what is there a need for these days, which conditions we are lacking. We don't have much armamentarium.
Okay. And so when it comes to recruitment for your clinical trials, what have you seen to be some of the obstacles in enrolling a patient into a trial?
So as a clinician, it's to me to diagnose a condition, it's easy when compared to enrolling those patients in a trial, because getting patients into a trial is very strict. There's a criteria that you need to follow. So now we have been doing it for many years. Now we have adapted and we know how to go through the whole criteria and enroll the patients.
And what role does the coordinator play in the recruitment of a patient?
Coordinators help me with the patient getting the history. They get all the details from the patient. So when I go and evaluate the patient, I already know what questions they have been missing and what I need to ask. So it streamlined the process.
And do you feel like the sponsor's expectations on enrollment numbers are realistic or unrealistic at times?
I think at times it could be unrealistic.
Based on the condition or?
Based on the incidence of the disease and how difficult it's pretty difficult to meet their inclusion and exclusion criteria most of the time if I compare to diagnosing a patient and treating them clinically.
Okay. And the dynamics of your research team, like how well do they work together and how do you guys coordinate the whole patient visit?
We're like a big family. So we're talking all the time, 2 to 3 times a day. So we work very well.
And do you have any barriers that break, like any communication barriers?
No. In this day and age, no barriers as such, no.
I don't have anything more on recruitment.
So I have multiple clinics that I'm seeing my patients outpatient, like 5 different clinics. I'm seeing patients inpatient in 4 different hospitals. So if I cannot be present in my office, I'm always on call and on virtual meeting with my coordinators. So the virtual presence is always there.
Great. So within your practice, from what you see, what are some of the diseases that you feel are like an unmet need within the industry that we could do more research on?
So as a rheumatologist, I'm treating lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, vasculitis, Sjogren, fibromyalgia. So apart from we have new medications for rheumatoid and psoriatic arthritis, but the most unmet, I would say, Sjogren disease. Mainly patients present with dry eyes, dry mouth, and fatigue. We are lacking any FDA-approved medications in Sjogren disease and fibromyalgia too. Patients feel miserable. They're in chronic pain. We don't have any good medications to take care of fibromyalgia. So I would say those two, between Sjogren disease and fibromyalgia, those would be my top two that we need some medications to help our patient.
And do these people or patients know that they have these diseases, or are they coming to you undiagnosed?
So they're coming undiagnosed. Then I run tests, talk to them with my clinical expertise, my physical exam, and reviewing the serology. Then we come up to a diagnosis. I have one example in mind. I remember it vividly. One of my patient, severe pain, his disease was very advanced. I tried to get one particular medication that was approved for that particular condition, but not approved by insurance. And patient was in so much pain, trying to help. We have been trying with different medications to control it, but I had that particular trial for a new molecule for that condition. Luckily, patient met all the inclusion criteria, and we were able to enroll the patient. And now it has been almost like 6 to 8 months, and patient have excellent response to that particular molecule and doing very well. So that's one example that I have in mind, that how the insurance was unable to help the patient, the drug that was approved, he couldn't get it for multiple reasons, and how a clinical trial was able to help that patient.
And do you feel like most patients understand that when they're joining a trial, it's not just about their experience, but they're also helping to advance medicine?
Yes, not most, but yes, some of the patients have an idea that they're doing this and it will help a lot in the future.
So now we want to talk a little bit about the future of clinical research. So do you feel running trials will get easier or harder over the next few years?
So based on my experience, I'm predicting it will get difficult.
Okay.
It will get difficult in the future doing clinical trials.
Do you, why would you say it would get more difficult?
Because
more complex?
now the medications that would be coming, or the molecules that would be introducing, that would be treating the disease at much molecular level, and it would be, this is my hope, it would be more customized, so we know for sure this is the condition, this is the patient, and this would be the molecule that will help. There won't be much trial and error. We would know for sure that this molecule will help this patient having a certain disease. That's what I'm thinking the future of rheumatology would be. More customized to a particular patient and to a particular disease and to a particular manifestation of that particular disease. Yeah.
And do you think that's a model that could be sustainable long term?
I think so. That would be sustainable, and more patients would be much happier that the drugs, the medication that we are using would be helping them, rather than the current situation. You're doing a step-up approach that, oh, this medication doesn't work, let's use this. This doesn't work, let's use this. But when it's more customized, then you'll exactly know what is being done, and what we'll do will help our patients.
All right, so now it's time for the rapid fire round.
Nice.
So I'm going to give you a couple words. There's some choices. You're going to say one word or one line answer to each one. And as soon as you're done, I'm going to ask the next one and we'll move on. Okay? Any questions?
No?
All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, paper or digital?
Digital. Anytime.
Speed or accuracy?
Accuracy.
More patients or better data?
Better data.
Protocol flexibility or strict compliance?
It's strict compliance.
AI and trials, helpful or hype?
Helpful.
Biggest headache, recruitment, compliance, or systems?
All three.
Most underrated role in a trial?
Clinical coordinators.
One word to describe clinical research?
Fantastic.
Awesome. Great job. So one last question. What is one thing you wish more people understood about being a principal investigator?
I know being a PI is challenging. You being a clinician and on top of that doing research work with such strict protocols. But I would say think about the greater good that you're doing and that could help your patients in the future. So if you have that thinking, if you have that in mind that, we'll have so many other medications we can help the patient, the greater good, then it would be easy to be a PI and a clinician both.
Great. Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you,
you're
Dr.
welcome.
Ali Husain, for joining us today and giving your insights in clinical research. And for our audience, thank you for tuning in to part 2 and stay tuned for the next episode.
And thank you for the invite. Thanks a lot.